Hello, everyone. This is the Crimson Cure, welcoming you to the Crimson Tower, a place where we keep a feminine foot on the neck of the gynocracy, feminism, and black male misandry. So go ahead, pull up a chair, stay a while, and listen.
Hey everybody, how are you all doing? Welcome. I'm gonna give everybody a few moments to get back in here. Hey Torian, hey Alonzo, hey Father's Time, how's everybody? I'm just gonna give a few people some more time, and I'm gonna give myself some more time to post this in Discord. Y'all know how it go. I don't even know why y'all playing like y'all don't know that it take me 10 hours to post. I gotta post it everywhere too. This used to be a quick process, y'all. It used to be a quick process. Hey, Elgene, how you doing this morning? Okay, I think I'm done. I think I'm done. Yay! I think I'm done. We're posting. So, how your weekend been, Ronin?
It's been eventful, uh,
Really?
to say the least. Just seeing some interesting things, and I noticed a lot of people on different channels are not able to either post their cash apps or even certain information on there, and that people have been talking about that recently. So that's something people need to look at.
Yeah, YouTube has been really, really glitchy. I heard some other content creators talking about what they couldn't post, other people talking about what they couldn't post in chat rooms, this and that. So YouTube been glitchy. It's been kind of, I don't know what because it took an update, and it didn't take that update on the laptop. It took the updates like on the phone and I think the mobile devices.
Yeah,
And so I took the update as well, and it's like now you glitchy with an update. Y'all need to roll that back because something didn't happen right. You know what I'm saying? Because most people are still using, you know what I'm saying? You might get on laptops, but most people are on YouTube on their phone or their tablet.
yeah.
So
I
y'all are
mean,
kind of
it's
doing
a little
something.
weird, but people are resilient. We're gonna figure out.
Mhm. Yeah, we gonna figure out a way to talk crap, whether YouTube let us post it or not.
You already know how that works. But how you feeling today?
I'm doing all right. My weekend was uneventful, just like I like them. I like them to be calm and to be nothing really going on. Um, I'm making some really good progress on my book. I'm hoping that I can really meet my own personal deadline that I have for it. Hopefully, I'm gonna pray on it and hope I can do it. But it's going really, really good because at one point I thought, I could just snap through the book, it'd be all right, it'd be fast.
Yeah,
But as you get into it, you think more, and it's like, okay, this starts to need to be fleshed out. This thing needs to be fleshed out. That thing needs to be fleshed out. And before you know it, you have long, I'm saying, things that you have to say, and they really do need to be said. So
oh yeah,
I don't want to put out crap. You know what I mean? I don't want to be I don't put my name on no crap. You know what I'm saying? That book would be for all time. Like, y'all know that book flop that Crimson Cure did? That was a whole flop. Nobody want to read that mess. It had a bunch of typos in it. The editing was bad. The flow of information was stupid. We don't read that book. We don't read that book.
So it's gonna be a great book. I've seen those type of books you're talking about, but just they say smooth is fast, fast is smooth. That's what we learned in the military. So just pace yourself.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, 1 second.
It's good, people. Get everybody. Oh, has she ever freestyled a beat? I think she has. I know she has. It's good. Torian Rain, Lonzo Hall, Father's Time, LG, Brenda Woods. Good to see you. Good to see you. Cynical Optimist. It's a cool ass name. Ready to get in today.
My apologies, everyone. I left something on the stove, and that's a no-no.
We'll roll with that.
I had to go get that one. We have a whole catastrophe going on in here. That the show will really be on pause then forever.
Oh yeah.
Like you done burnt your house down, like girl. Mm-mm. So my apologies for that. I had to go and see about that. All right. So what we got for everybody today? We got another healing discussion that we are going to talk about today. Of course, I always love to have these discussions, especially with Ronin, because he always has such a good insight. And it's good to talk to people who are going through or have gone through extensive self-reflection and healing processes, because we have the insight necessary to understand how we got over something and what worked for us, and the fact that it might work for someone else also. So today, and I got a good mind to change the title to Relationship Time Card Fraud. Shout out to Ronin for that. And today we are focusing on how we as individuals lose focus on ourselves.
Yes.
And we have a tendency to just overlook us, and we jump right into external things, external validation, trying to get something going in our sort of external life. And then we disregard our internal life. And if you recall what the actual 10 life values are, and I'm going to name them. So spiritual health, family, appearance dwelling, and then you have, so those are the first 5. And then you have mobility, education, profession, leisure, and wealth, right? Now, the first 5 are all personal things to us. They're all things that we that go on in our internal world and our internal lives, the things that happen in our home, the things that happen with our families, our personal health, our personal appearance, and spiritual well-being. And then the next 5 are all the external things. Mobility is everything that happens outside of your door. And then education and profession, you go to work, you go to school, these are all things you leave your personal domain in order to do. Including leisure and the acquisition of wealth. So we have a tendency to skip them first 5 things. A lot of people just skip those, especially if they have problems in it. It's easier to just kind of sweep that under the rug as best you can and be like, okay, in order to get my life together, I'm gonna get this money. I'm gonna get this bag, or I'm gonna go to school, or I'm going to start traveling and doing a lot of vacation type things just to try to clear myself. So I think that's one of the big mistakes that people make is we, in order to heal something that is going on internally with us, we start looking externally to find ways to address something that is internal. And I think that's probably the biggest mistake we make, and why we have such a hard time healing ourselves. What do you think about that, Ronin?
I definitely agree. There's just a lot of times where we don't look into ourselves, and it's probably the hardest thing to do, because either we're trying to either ease that drama in there or we just avoid it. And the longer you delay it, the more it spreads to other things, especially in the relationships, because we are the architects of those said relationships. If we don't build ourselves correctly, then people are going to act accordingly. And you can't really complain when you lay the blueprints out them to them how to treat you.
Exactly. So we really can't complain. And you know, I know we all either have been that person or know this person. This is a person that I know. And this person has a lot of things going on with them. They're not happy. They're not happy with themselves. They're not happy with their marriage. They're not happy with their home. They're not happy with their kids. They're not happy with their work life. They're not happy. This person is not happy. And I look at this person, and sometimes it's difficult because when your advice has not been solicited, it's difficult to give the advice. Yeah. And I haven't, because it hasn't been solicited and nobody asked me. But I'm seeing it and I'm like, you need to apply the 10 life values to yourself, because it's such an excellent measuring tool to see where you are on the scale of life. Where are you? Where are your strong points and where are your weak points? And all of this person's weak points are the first 5. All of them. And it's like, okay, so you overlooking you and the issues that's going on around you that are personal. What are you doing to address these things? And I think people get lost in that. People get lost at step number 1. What am I going to do to address myself? What am I going to start doing? Like, what's the first step I need to accomplish in order to begin a healing process? And of course, the first of the values is spiritual, but I think encompassed in that is a whole lot of things. But encompassed in that is looking in the mirror and getting clear. Looking in the mirror and getting clear on who you are and what you see in that mirror and what it represents to you, you know, instead of dodging it. Like we dodge the mirror, the physical one and the, you know, the psychological mirror. Because I found personally that it helped me to look in the physical mirror and talk, you know what I'm saying, to me. Like, okay, girl, listen. What you got going on is not good. So now I need for you to tell me, what are we going to do about this? What's your first step to getting this stuff clear? Because it boils down to, do you want to be healed or not? And I think that's probably the number one question that people need to ask themselves, and then be honest with that answer. Do you want to be healed or not? And then I think the follow-up question is, what will you do? What are you willing to do to get to that place of healing?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. That's those are 2 of the few questions I had to ask myself at one point, where it felt like you was at the middle of the valley, trying to figure out what the hell you're gonna do. You're sick and tired of being pissed off. You tried alcohol, you tried other vices, you tried hiding yourself among other people, but no matter where you wake up in the morning, you look in the mirror, you know something is unaddressed. You know what you need to do. It's like, I can't hide from this no more. Whatever it is. And you already know, out of everybody, you can lie to your spouse, you can lie to everybody, even to yourself to an extent, but you look in the mirror, you know what you see. And it's like, I got tired. And some people had to go. Some things had to change. And it was uncomfortable as hell, but it's necessary. I mean, you have to do some spiritual surgery, but above all else. And you have to remember, certain people can see the brokenness and they see an opportunity to make good on that. And sometimes even you become their broken mask, since you suit their needs. That's why certain people hook up with each other. Because one, as I say, lies always require a cosigner, and y'all can never afford the rent.
I think you just said something really important, that other people can see your brokenness. And thank you, LAR. Other people can see your brokenness. Other people can see that. Other people detect it. And it either will attract somebody that's looking to, I think it attracts one of three people. It attracts the abuser and the usurper. The person that sees a broken person and like, you know what, I can take advantage of them because they are broken. And I can use their brokenness against them. And it can be men or women. It doesn't go one way. That's a two-way street. And it doesn't even have to be a romantic relationship. It could be any kind of relationship. I'm going to take advantage of this person because I can see the kind of brokenness that they have, and I can use that to my advantage. And then I think the second person that it attracts is the other broken person. My broken parts can kind of sort of fit your broken parts a little bit, and we're going to try to be together because both of us are broken in these different kinds of ways, but I recognize the brokenness in you and you recognize the brokenness in me. And I think that if we come together with our broken pieces, we can try to make a whole person. And that's not the way to heal, because that's again looking to somebody else to give you something that you aren't giving yourself. And I think that the third person is not a person you attract, but the person you repel. The person that sees the brokenness and like, oh, I'm not dealing with that because you're broken. And I have had a couple of proposals just over the course of the past 2 to 3 years, because it'll be 3 years in January since my husband's passing. So about 3 years. And I've had some marriage proposals in that time. And I dismissed them because of the brokenness that I saw. One of the men who was attempting to propose to me or whatever, we would talk and it seemed okay on the surface. But as we began to have more conversation, interact a little more, because I listen very intently, to what is being said to me. And I started getting this person's depressed. This person has a lot of unresolved issues from their past. This person is a hurt person. And because they're hurt, they're going to hurt me. It might be inadvertent. They might not mean to do it. It might not be a malicious thing that they intend to do, but hurt people do indeed hurt other people, whether it's malicious or intentful or not. And when I recognized that, I was like, okay, no, and I had to kind of turn him down gently, like, we can't do this. And I have to admit that I wasn't 100% honest as to why. I kind of hinted around it. And I was like, well, it just seemed like you got a lot of things that you need to work on. And I don't know that a marriage helps you with that at this time. And I wanted to go further, but I didn't want to offend and I didn't want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, maybe I should have been more honest. But I kind of danced around it, I will admit. And this is also true. There is a fourth. The fourth person is the person who just wants to help you through your brokenness. And that is rare. That's actually rare to attract, to be in your brokenness and attract that person, because that person in and of themselves are rare. You're the person that sees something broken or sees someone who is broken, and from really an altruistic place, for the most part, say, I want to help you. I want to help you. I'm not going to take advantage of you. I'm not here to harm you or hurt you. I'm not here to just pick what I need off of your carcass. I really do want to see you on the road to healing. I do really want to see you healed. And that's definitely a rare person, but those kinds of people are, in my opinion, some of the best people walking the earth. And I think that God probably would have destroyed us all if it wasn't for them kind of people in existence. Like, all y'all trash. We throwing y'all away. Throw the whole planet away. Throw the whole humanity away, because all of y'all are trash. It's none of y'all that does anything for the benefit of their brother or sister.
Yeah.
So I know I've talked a lot, but you can jump in, Ronin, anytime.
No, I mean, it was a lot to take in because you were right. I mean, like when it came to two broken people trying to piece each other together, one, they risk cutting each other up, and two, both of them only can look at each other at a fragmented view. And that's when you start losing yourself. You only see each other in parts, not the entirety. You're not willing to face the truth within yourselves nor each other. So that's half the reason why you get a lot of divorces. Because a lot of people, how can you stand at the altar and make a pledge to, take care of somebody when you divorced yourself a long time ago? And that's just what happens. That's what happens too many times. And I see this in this space where you have individuals who always point fingers. This person did this person did that. When, I say for myself, I took accountability. I still take accountability for allowing certain people to cut me in certain ways or have access to areas that they weren't qualified to be in. That's what we have to start doing. It's like, okay, well, this person did this. Why did I allow them to change me into who I really am? If I'm a generous, if I'm a sensible giver, I should not let other people alter that when I take ownership of that. And there are too many people who will marry either their mask or their dysfunction. That's the other part.
You keep it short, but it be powerful.
I do what I can, but it's stuff we gotta look at. It's just
it is.
And being not just in the manosphere and YouTube for this long, you start seeing things on and offline. In some ways, how they mirror is just the extended version offline, and people come here as an escape. They'll sit there and shoot their shots by digital shields or just by the company of other people. But again, when you go home, you always lose that battle with the army of one. You already know what you're looking at. That spiritual warfare is whooping your ass every time you look in the mirror, every time you're sitting by yourself. That's why to me, you can't really call yourself high value when you might have 6 figures or better and you still haven't figured yourself out.
Mm-hmm.
You're just, a high price puppet because you have to maintain that image, because when you lose that image and people see you for who you really are, most people are shattered, or they just can't take the trauma of being exposed to the world. A lot of people know what you are and what you do, but that access of wealth or even influence, that'll mask it for a while. They're getting something from it, but those people are no different than carrion birds. They're just picking their lot and flying off and going elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. And you said a little bit of mouthful. I'm gonna back up and then I'm gonna come back, because you mentioned divorced. You divorced yourself, and the note that I wrote here is you checked out of your own healing.
Yes.
You checked out of yourself, and then you mentioned you can be a high value person and still be broken. A so-called high value man or woman, and still kind of be a broken person, because in many ways, it's easier for some people to throw themselves in the latter 5 of that 10 life value list. It's easier to throw myself into mobility and education, profession, leisure, and wealth. It's easy for me to go to school. It's easy for me to concentrate on these external things. It's easy for me to excel in certain areas. I have a skill set or I have a talent, and it's easy for me to throw myself into that and be successful in that. And that success in those external qualities will help me to delude myself into thinking that I am a successful person. However, the trap there, the trick bag there, is that you are now measuring yourself and the value and the worth of yourself on what you can do, but not who you are.
Yes. Yeah.
And when you wrap your self-value and self-worth in what you can do, what happens when you can't do that anymore?
Right.
What happens when you've done all you can in a profession and it's time to retire? What happens when you can't be a career student anymore? What happens when, you're too old and infirm to do a lot of leisure and travel anymore? What happens when you've accumulated wealth, but you don't have anywhere to put it or anywhere to spend it, or there's nothing else to be done with it? You've done what you could. You've bought what you could buy. You've paid what you could pay, and you've done that. So what happens when you reach the end of that and now you need to rely on who you are and not what you have or what you can do? And focusing solely on what is external to give us our value is a huge mistake. And it's really one that I see everybody making, but I see men making that mistake a lot.
Oh yeah.
Too, because men are dependent upon to be accomplished somehow, to make accomplishments, to have accomplishments, to be able to do, to be able to, perform and to function for themselves, for their community, for their family, for whomever.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I think men kind of lose themselves in, well, this is what I can do.
Yeah.
And people should respect me for what I can do and what I have. And I'm not saying people shouldn't respect a person for what they can do or what they have. But also, what about who you are? Did we ignore the spiritual base? Did we ignore the health situation? Did we ignore our family situation? Did we ignore our appearance? Did we ignore our dwellings? We ignored all that stuff. And we threw ourselves into the other things.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that was important to point out what you were saying.
I mean, there's so many people that focus on being socially wealthy, but interpersonally bankrupt, and it starts seeping out. We start seeing your relationship credit score, and it looks terrible. And I saw the relationship with my dad. Like I seen the vices he would use to medicate himself, or at least try to keep the stress away, because he made some great money doing what he was doing, and he was, I mean, in his field, he's great, brilliant. But I saw the person that was still either hurting or trying to like really figure things out, because all they saw was what he provided on a monetary scale. I believe that's why he kept bringing me along, because I wouldn't even be concerned about that. That was cool. I said, I just want to see my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Just, the big kid that, took us fishing and, cheap playing video games and just, just, being himself. And it's like, when you give people the freedom to be their genuine selves, I figure that's where you see the wealth of their personality or who they really are. And a lot of times we keep ourselves in that emotional vault where we don't want no one to get in there because we already been robbed a few times. So we step up the security measures. Like, look, you can do this, but you can't get here. And that's why I see a lot of the fragmentation of the Black community, that there's no promotion or acceptance of Black male interdependence. That's like, we can give of ourselves, but we're not allowed to give to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you start seeing the pushback now, where men are like, we're sick and tired of being muted. We're not going to be the old strong and silent type. Like, look, sometimes I can be loud. Sometimes I can, be goofy, but I need the freedom to be myself for the most part. That's what my interpretation of what I'm seeing. Now, some guys might translate it a little sloppily, but it's honest. But
Mm-hmm.
this is a time where you need to be your genuine self. If you can't, how can you give everything to everybody and rob yourself of the opportunity to see in the world and learning the better version of you? And that's what we need to start looking at.
Definitely. We definitely need to start looking at that. And we we need to understand that there is a difference between what we are and who we are. You know, there's a difference between what somebody is and who someone is. And Father Time pointed out something, said many people, especially men, commit suicide when they can no longer do what they did professionally. Warren Farrell, Human Doings versus Human Beings. And that is the definite difference. The human doing is what you are. The human being is who you are. And those first 5 sets of the 10 life values is who you are. The latter 5 is what you are. Yeah. And they come together to complete the entire person. And we get mixed up in what we are. I was watching, which I still got to finish it. I was watching, I think what's the season finale of Iyanla's Fix My Life. And the family that she had on there, I don't know if y'all seen the viral video where the guy was like, yeah, my wife ain't ever had to pay a mortgage, pay a bill, blah, blah, blah. It was going around the internet. It's unimportant. But what is important is that he was the patriarch of his family. Okay, lots of children, a blended family, and all of that. And he had predicated his worth on what he was. A provider, a protector, you know what I'm saying? He was able to, you know what I'm saying, financially make his family comfortable. He was able to, you know what I'm saying, make sure that they weren't falling on hard times and that he was doing his job according to that. But the problem and the breakdown was that his children and to some extent his wife had not connected with who he was. And more importantly, he had not connected to who he was. He viewed himself from the lens of what he was. But he had not gotten into touch with who he actually was. And in that particular situation, I can see a lot of men, not just him, but a lot of men getting lost in that, and they themselves not understanding who they are as people and not seeing themselves as people. They see themselves as utilities. And I think that that's very dangerous, particularly for men. And I'm harping on men not to be judgmental about them, but men's roles in society and their roles in their families require them to some extent be utilities. However, that is not the totality of the man. Right. That's not the totality of, that's not who he is. That's just what he is. Yeah. But that doesn't speak to the person inside. And I think that's where a lot of times we lost. I hate to kind of turn the conversation. You can turn it back if you want to. But I think that's kind of where we lost seeing men as people. Yeah. We stopped seeing them for who they were. And we only began to see them for what they were. And men began to be socialized to see themselves that way, to internalize the fact that they are the fact that they're utilities, but they're not. People with feelings and thoughts and the need to have nurturing and spiritual, you know what I'm saying, and all of that kind of stuff. I'm sorry. I totally turned the conversation. I didn't mean to.
Like I said, this conversation can be very broad as it's supposed to. But I believe not just in what's left of the community or the society, it will help when you not just marry the servant, but the relationship savant that often gets cut off. When you do that, then you'll start seeing the beauty of what can be created. When that person can be their real, genuine self and appreciate it, a whole lot of magic can happen. But you have a lot of people who are selfish givers. Like, look, I need to marry this person by this time because my biological clock is a stopwatch now. Or I need to marry this person to get to this level to be accepted by people who don't really give a fuck about me. But you got a lot of people who are making these nonsensical pursuits. And the numbers are cool. I mean, it's good to have a bit of fiscal wealth. What happens when you have um, spiritual cancer and that bleeds out into where it eats at your physical wealth? That's what people can tend to ignore. It's like it's worth that. They figure it's worth the problem or at least the struggle, and it's not. Because I mean, I cannot go somewhere even if I won, the lottery today. I'd still have to take care of myself first because like all that will just evaporate before my very eyes trying to medicate all that brokenness within myself. It wouldn't mean anything. That's why you see a lot of millionaires like that lose their wealth because they're trying to take care of this person, take care of that person. They don't even look at themselves like that. They don't even get away and appreciate uh, the stillness of peace of mind that is healing. They'll just find a piece of ass or a piece of something, and they end up more famished than anything because it's not fulfilling. And I've tried that with other things, trying to find substance elsewhere, and it just wasn't fulfilling. When I was in those places of peace of mind and stillness, that's where I started finding and repairing myself. But most times guys have to get off to themselves because their voice isn't appreciated, and in many cases women as well, because you can speak to that. But as far as a man, it's like I understand when brothers are going through things like depression or damn near at the edge of ending it all because they don't find any meaning despite what their wealth or abundance has made physically. They're not, they're not being appreciated for who they are.
Yeah. And when you brought up, like, if I won the lottery today, that sort of thing. And what came to my mind is a fool and his money is soon parted.
Oh, yeah.
And the fool, a lot of people think a fool is just a silly person, a goofy person. But a fool is a person without a solid foundation. And
I know where you're going.
in the Quran, Allah likens this type of person to a spider. And the spider, and the Arabic word for spider is al-ankabut. And a spider builds its home in precarious places. It doesn't have a solid foundation. A spider will build a web anywhere, at any time. And while it anchors its web on what it finds around it, it doesn't have the intellectual capacity to understand whether something is temporary or permanent. For example, I parked my car and went into Target. This is like last week. Right. I was only in Target about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, record speed for a woman. And I came back to my car to find that a spider was building a web between the wall in front of me and my hood of my car. He was real busy. I mean, he was going back and forth. He was kind of a big spider too. He was going back and forth. I mean, he was working. He was working that web. And I'm like, I'm about to pull off and you're going to die because you're building your home somewhere where there's no foundation.
Yeah.
And that is a fool. And that is why a fool, a person who does not attend spiritual, health, family, appearance, dwelling, that's a fool.
Yeah.
That is why they are parted from their mobility, education, profession, leisure, and their wealth. This is why they are parted from it, because you have no foundation. You are building in very precarious, very, I can blow it away. You know what I'm saying? I can blow you down. You know what I'm saying? And you'll just float away and it won't be anything after that. This is why you can't have nice things, because you don't have any type of foundation to yourself. And this is why people who win $100 million in the lottery and then 3 to 5 years later, they're broke.
Yeah.
My mother in 2011 came into some money. For her, it was a big deal. She came into 6 figures all at once. But my mother is a spider. Okay, she's a spider. And she doesn't have a solid foundation to herself. Mm-hmm. Within less than a year, that money was gone.
Yeah.
Now, had I had that money, and me and my sister and my father was like, why we couldn't get that money? Because we could have thought of a million ways to make that money repeat itself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And because we have a foundation of who we are. We're not spiders. So we understand not to hit your wagon to a car that's going to pull off and you don't even know that. You didn't even know you were hooking into a car. You didn't even know what a car is. All you know is you was building a web.
Yeah.
And hopefully this analogy doesn't, because sometimes I'm not real good at analogies. No, I'm not the analogy queen.
It is a perfect analogy because back in 2006, 2007, I was that spider. And I decided I want to build my web, but I was building it with roaches. To be completely honest. It was like they were worried about roach type things. They weren't even thinking about elevating things, or they wanted something higher, but then the mindset was so basic. It was like, well, let's just have a store so I can get access to low tier women or the pseudo clout. It wasn't even about making money per se to help the community or be anything bigger than that. It's just well, let me have this pseudo status symbol at someone else's dime. But the most important lesson and more or less blessing at the time was I found out later they wrote me out of the business, but then the business collapsed and they had to eat that bill. So sometimes you have people who are your detractors. They set you up to get you out the way of failure. Those tend to be sometimes your little spiritual airbags. You didn't ask for it, but then that's when you find out in many ways that you are favored. Then you can begin to understand. And in this space too, you're starting to see a lot of spiders run around, jumping from narrative to narrative. They're one thing or another. They're not rooted in the standards or principles they claim to have. So you can't really take them seriously because one minute you're this, next minute you're this. And there's individuals I know that are real solid. They've been that way from day one that I knew. That's why I gained a level of respect because they, what they stood on was sturdy, male or female, was sturdy. Some people I might not like so much, but I respect the fact they stand their ground. Just be your genuine self unapologetically. But try to evolve forward. Don't regress. That's my only thing. But yeah, the spider analogy was on point because it just painted a great picture. Just you pulled away and the spider is like shit.
Right. And it doesn't even know. It had no idea that was coming. You know what I'm saying? It set down quote unquote roots any old place. No forethought because it doesn't even have the capacity to think more than right now. Right now, I want to build a web. What's around me? Can I hook my web to anything? Let me do it. Let me put it right here. Let me put it right there. And it's dysfunctional. Well, for the spider, it's fine because it's a spider, right? And that's the spider's nature. But when human beings take on a spider's mentality, that's our severe dysfunction.
Yes.
And it speaks to how we have ignored ourselves. But then there was another aspect that we talked about that we wanted to bring out today. And the other aspect was, and I'm piggybacking off of Sheep Stay Sleep. Shout out to DS1. Because a few weeks ago when he was on vacation, he had a video that he entitled, "The World is Bigger Than Your Dysfunction," or something close to that.
Yes.
And that's something that I don't think realize when we're in the depths of a dysfunctional space.
Yes.
We think the world revolves around the dysfunction we're in. but it doesn't. The world is spinning on its axis like it always has. It is revolving around the sun like it always has. The seasons are changing like they always have. And stuff is going on outside of you. And they're not paying attention to you. You and your dysfunction are very small in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
And I think only when we can kind of step out of it can we start to see, wait a minute, the world, the physical world, as well as the world ideologically, is bigger than me. And my little corner of it where I'm being dysfunctional. Okay. And I'm kind of trying to focus what I want to say about that. Because I think changes of environment can sometimes give us the kick in the pants that we need to see ourselves from another perspective. And this is why I like the fact that mobility is right in the middle. Because that's our ability or lack thereof to change our environments as well. Yes. And I think sometimes when we can step outside of it, we are able to also sometimes step outside of us and see, wait a minute, if I go to Bora Bora for a week, right, and see how other people are living, how other people are experiencing the world, and I get another experience. Is it that important what I was going through back home that I thought was so big? And maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's not the other people. I don't know. I'm kind of being scattered now. So please jump in with your thoughts because I'll get scattered.
My homeboy Javion, which introduce you to him soon. When we were working, we were doing full time. It was just like the same repetitive conversation. Just like, well, we'd be going to our respective jobs. He had another job, so all he had time was just go to sleep, pay his bills, and then just do the repetitive cycle. So when I talked to him, he's talking about, man, I got a trip to Vegas coming up. I said, well, that's what's up. And I was like, matter of fact, when you go, I'm not even gonna call you. I'll just wait till you get back. And when he came back, he had this whole new perspective of himself and direction. Just like you can look at someone, you see the light in their eyes light up, just like they have all this new energy. Like he said, I didn't know there were certain things out here. All I knew was just the Midwest. I just didn't, I'm just in my routine. All I knew was like I had my job, my bills, and then all the stress. But able to see the pictures and not just taking pictures, but seeing himself in a different location that inspired him to like go to different other places, which he's going to go to another place this week. So, and we always had our conversations change. Like it's just about all he wants to do, all he wants to be. And this is like all new to him. And like, it was like he was being a kid again. And in many ways, like in doing something like that, even if it's occasionally, it helps you to extend it beyond yourself, not just a place to go, transport your dysfunction.
Right. A dysfunction transplant operation.
I mean, sometimes people, put passport stamps on their dysfunction, but that's on them. But when I went to both coasts in 2018, where I went to New York to see the Hip Hop Film Festival, shout out to Madmen. And then within a month later, I was in California. That was like the greatest time, ever. Just not just meeting up with friends or whatnot, but just like when we met up, it felt like, a class reunion. Like we just, left a few years and it was just like, we just meeting the first time, but we act like, damn near like kids. It actually helps the inner child in you because you get excited. You're looking out the window seat and seeing the beauty of things that you're missing, all because you're just harboring all that clutter within yourself in a small space. Like, you might be popular in a small place, but when you step outside, you need to understand you don't know everything. Sometimes you don't know nothing, and it's better that way. I want to relearn again, because if you stop learning, you stop living, in a sense.
You do. That's a big thing for me. I'm never done learning. I'm never done experiencing things. I'm never done. Like, for me, the education process never stops. The education process never stops. And I don't think it should ever stop for anyone, because I do think that the day that you stop learning things is the day that a part of you dies.
Yes.
Because you don't, what is it? No one knows it all. No one can do it all. No one can be it all. So how do you stop learning? How do you stop going on? And just going back to what you were saying about your friend and his travels and things of that nature, I think that traveling around, or whether it's near or far, is important to the healing process because it interrupts the pattern of dysfunction. Because dysfunctions have a pattern, just like success has a pattern, right? If we can do something, and if we were successful at it, and we repeat the pattern, we'll keep being successful at that thing. We'll keep doing it. And if we apply that pattern elsewhere, we might actually be successful in other areas too, because this is the pattern of success.
Yes.
Pattern of dysfunction exists as well. It's the pattern of it. It's what we always do, or always think, or always say. It's where we always are. It's the people we always interact with, and we do it the same way. And we continue to be in a dysfunctional pattern.
Yeah.
And disrupting that pattern, or interrupting it, is key to breaking it, and is also key to formulating a successful pattern.
Yes.
And one that is not based and rooted in some sort of dysfunction. And like, using myself as an example, thank you, Felicia. So that spider analogy was spot on. I know so many people who have trouble seeing beyond what's immediately in front of them. Yeah, definitely. And like, using myself as an example, I'm learning to, that logo is on point. It's on point. It really is. It's you too. Like, it's you to a T. But I had to, and am learning to break patterns of dysfunction, because I have a little thing that I like to do. If someone says something to me and it's hurtful, and I don't mean hurtful as in they're trying to hurt my feelings, but they said something, they gave me an experience of them, they gave me their experience of me. And if that experience was not good, the first thing that happens to me is my feelings get hurt, because I don't want people that I care about to have bad experiences of me. But the pattern of dysfunction is to then, for me to go into some sort of trying to fix it. I've got to either defend myself, or I've got to try to explain it somehow, or I've got to try to address it somehow, like on the spot. Which I had to learn that what I viewed as defending myself, first of all, a person giving you their experience of you is not an attack.
No.
That's number one.
It's not bashing.
No, it's not bashing. So that's the first step. You have to not see it as an attack, because that's where the defense comes from. Number two, trying to explain it, fix it, do it's, talk your way or whatever, what you're really saying to that person is, I invalidate your experience of me because I'm going to try to tell you that your experience of me is not real and not true. And if a person feels like you're invalidating them and invalidating their experiences of you, that wards them off.
Mhm.
And it actually solidifies whatever they were thinking in their minds. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm good on you because if I come and tell you something, you invalidate me. And I don't want to do that because it makes me feel like I can't say nothing to you because you go into this defense mode and you go into this mode where I can't talk to you.
Yeah.
And I am learning to break that pattern. Whenever I encounter that, instead of talking, I do the opposite. Just be quiet. Just don't say anything.
Yeah.
Because that person's experience of you is their experience of you. There's nothing you can do about that. They had the experience. It's already done. All right. Whatever was done is done. You can't get out of it. It's done.
Right.
How they experienced it, how they took that in, that's already done. So you can't go back and make them experience something else. They already had it. So all that you need to do is understand how you are presenting to people. And if you don't like how someone is experiencing you, then the check is for you, not them.
Yep. Yeah.
And I just wanted to say that as an example of needing to check and interrupt a pattern of dysfunction. Yeah. And go into something else that actually helps you be successful rather than help you fail. Yeah. And I think that's something that we need to do too, is understand how to interrupt those patterns that we fall into.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. It's just like like I said, with this space, I'm gonna talk about that later. Is it's inundated with a lot of aimless architects. Like they're willing to build. It's just like they hire some goofy contractors that build something else completely different than what they were looking to have. So I just find it interesting that people's playing the blame game when you're right. When people offer you an honest critique of what you're showing them, a lot of people don't like what they see in that mirror, the social mirror. And that's something you need to fix for yourself. I mean, like, okay, I take that, to, assessment, and I have to fix that or not. I mean, it's still a choice. But any relationship, whether it be, platonic or even an intimate relationship, in many ways, they're a reflection of you. And if you don't like what you're seeing, somebody's trying to tell you something. You need to fix it.
Definitely. Because you're in your life. You're participating in your life. All right. And saying that you're passive and that me and my sister was having this conversation yesterday. If you don't like your life, understand that you're playing a part in everything that's happening to you. Yeah. Now, you may not be able to control all of the circumstances and situations that you encounter in your life, but you do control your reactions to those things, how you are interpreting what's happening to you and how you respond to what's going on around you. And if you keep attracting crazy energy, crazy situations, something always is going on, this is part of you. There's something in you that is doing that. And it causes, or it should cause, you to stop and be like, okay, this is a pattern. Again, with the patterns, this is a pattern. I always attract men that act like this thing. I always attract friends that do this. I always this or that. What is it about me that I'm putting out that's attracting this stuff? And it takes sometimes it's real obvious. Sometimes we already know. We just don't want to say to ourselves what it is. We don't want to face it. sometimes
Right.
we kind of don't know, and we need to go back and sit in it for a while and be like, okay, it's something I'm not doing right, because life just shouldn't go like this. You know what I'm saying? Other people's lives don't do
Yeah.
this. So why is my life constantly in a flux? Why am I constantly, you know what I'm saying? I'm constantly unhappy. I'm constantly just in this mode. Why? And you have to think about that. What are the patterns? What are you doing all the time? Because if you're doing a certain thing and you keep getting a certain result, then that means you got to start changing what you're doing. You have to at some point. And it goes back to the original question. You want to be better or not?
Yeah.
Because if you don't want to be healed, then shut up. Because actually, if you don't want to be healed, that's fine, but don't nobody want to hear it either.
Right.
You study just want to complain, and you study just want somebody to listen to you complain. I don't want to listen to them complaints, because at some point a solution has to be presented and acted upon. And if you're not going to act on no type of solutions, everything somebody say to you is you can't do that, then I don't want to hear these little quote unquote problems, because you're not really having a problem. You just like to complain about things that go on with you. So I don't want to hear that.
Right. No, I mean, I agree. It's like you get tired. I mean, you get tired real quick when you find out you're in a relationship with a emotional infant. You know, like, okay, this person's crying. Okay, you try to figure out what's going on, and then after a while, like, all right, whatever, just and you keep it moving. But some people, on the other part, it's not just certain people are reflection of who you are, but some people come into your life as to test the commitment of what you're trying to become. And that's the other part, and you have to have that level of discernment to know which is which. You know, why are they here? What are they, what are they bringing to this? That's why I don't get caught up in pocket watching, or the the physical attributes might be nice, but someone might be that kind of hoarder, spiritually, to where they carry their clutter and they go dump it in your life, and then it starts messing you up. So if they have issues, there's nothing wrong to try to help them to an extent, but you can't drag them into success. You really can't, because some
Mm-mm.
people go fighting and kicking and screaming and biting, and we've seen that too many times here. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I get the response of a lot of the brothers, like, and a lot of stuff they champion. Like, yeah, I mean, I get certain tenets, but then there's a certain point where I got dropped a line and said, what is it that I want and need? Because I might move different. Nothing wrong with that. But at what cost am I going to pay for doing certain
Yeah.
things, believe in certain things? So that's why you see a lot of Jonathans go to space. They're willing to prostitute themselves and their access to either medicate the emptiness within themselves, or, just to buy them time and some
Mm.
empathy.
To buy them time. What you think they buying time for?
Yeah, they're trying to, I guess, treat relationships like payday loans.
Mm.
It's like they basically put any and everything of themselves into something that is not benefiting to them. And when you look at it, they've already paid 3 times as much for an item that really wasn't worth anything. It was a waste of time. And that's the penalty of submitting yourself to instant gratification. And it's like, yeah, there's women who are beautiful, or you might have a dude that, you know, you might be easy on the eyes, but then you start finding out he's a handsome Holocaust or she's a beautiful retard. And I've had my fair share of those, chicks that make you squint. Like, I can't take her out in public. She's fine. No, she's stupid. Can't do
Mm-hmm.
it. Or you got a guy who he looks great on your couch, but that's where he's going to be for the majority of the day. So don't you what is the point of taking pride and being even arrogant about having a relationship with a dusty trophy? Trophies are static, they don't move. They
Yeah.
might look good, but they're not going anywhere. And then when you really look at it, you start wondering, what have I really accomplished by having this person in my life? Usually, trophies are a token of.
Something going on with your sound. It's
Oh,
like
sorry.
it's not clear. There we
No, I
go.
like I
There
said,
we go.
like trophies are a token of achievement. Hard work and whatnot. And mainly luck. But then when you look at them, it's like, why are they here? They're just taking up space. And then after a while, they get thrown out or put in the Salvation Army because they outlived their usefulness.
Mm, yeah. Sometimes trophies sit there and collect dust,
Yeah.
take up space. And
Start
the
cracking.
pride you felt in it the day you won it, you do not feel that pride no more. You be like, that wasn't important when I won that. I don't even know why I was competing for it in the first place. Why did I do that?
And then you start talking about it, like, what's that? Let me show you the other room.
Right. Pay no mind to what's going on over there. We know. Like my grandma used to say, instead of never mind, she say knee mind, knee mind, knee mind that.
That's just a paperweight. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
it's good to have conversations like these because we're not having them. I'm not seeing it in this space, and that's in many ways I get why, because a lot of people are not even looking to start the initial course of graduating themselves. It's like, well, I want to be this. I it's not, I mean, I can't really spit on the whole high value thing. It's just the way it's being implemented. There's a lot of people who are putting on a title on something that hasn't been earned, at least or organically.
Yeah. And I think that's well, maybe some people are having a problem with it. Here over here on the Crimson Cure channel, we don't have a problem with the concept of a high value man. Because there is a such thing. And his accomplishments is part of it. So I'm not going to sit here and say his accomplishments don't have anything to do with him being high value, because the more capable you are, the more valuable you are. But some of the ways in which it is discussed, I agree with you, Ronin, a little bit problematic. Hey, Sheep, a little bit problematic about how it gets discussed. Because again, it focuses only on the external thing, what he is. He's a high value man. That's what he is. But who is that man? Who is that man? And while we're talking about high value things, I don't believe in the term high value woman for women. There are feminine women and there are not feminine women.
Hyenas.
There are hyenas and there are lionesses. And I'm not saying a woman can't have a lot of value. It's not what I mean. But for women, I think the scale is different. And obviously what we're valued for is different from what men are valued for. A woman is not necessarily high value on her own. A man has to help mold her into that. That's what happens. A man has to do that. He has to make her into something. She's a clay and he's the potter. And what he makes out of her is what she will be. And if he never makes anything, she won't be anything to him. She'll be nothing to him. A woman's value when it comes outside of herself, right? Personal market value, belonging market value, friendship market value, sexual market value, and marriage market value is the value of a woman within herself. However, she becomes highly valued to a particular man. And I hope that I'm saying that in a way that people get that. A high value woman is not a woman that makes six figures and she's got all of them external things intact, her degrees and her profession and her wealth and her that does nothing to increase or decrease a woman's value. Our value isn't necessarily in what we are, but who we are.
Yeah.
A woman that has focused her energies on her spiritual self, her health, her family, her appearance, and her dwelling becomes a valuable woman within herself. And a man takes that woman and introduces her to the mobility, education, profession, leisure, and wealth.
Yeah.
So I want I want the ladies to understand very clearly. I'm not saying that you're not valuable just because I don't put that title a high value woman, because that don't even flow good off the tongue. High value woman.
No,
that don't even flow good.
A man is not really gonna take a gas station pill just because you got a degree.
No.
Help me find that guy. Where's he at? It just doesn't. No, I mean, that's cool. I mean, it's cool if you got 6, 7, or 8 figures, but when it's all said and done, I'm there talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
I can see if you're wealthy. I mean, wealthy within or bankrupt. A man can do that.
Yeah.
Now, if he has a sour agenda, yeah, he'll go along with it to get what he wants. But if he's really into you like that, he wants to see the best out of you. He knows that that's soil, I guess, in a figurative and in a literal way. But he'll want to build something with you, or build something with you. I mean, it's really a great honor, I'd say, to a man to like really consider a woman to be the catalyst of his legacy.
Yeah.
But some want to be in a hood polygamy. I mean, whatever. If that's where you fit, that's where you fit. But it's really taking account of who we're dealing with, and it's like the value system, I agree, is different with the women, because I really don't see too many guys outside of homosexuals valuing a woman what she has monetarily or even education wise. It just never really excited me like that. I'm like, oh, hey man, I gotta go get my spend the night bag. She's a thousandaire. That's awesome. I'm like, okay.
I said she's a thousandaire. You silly.
Okay. Yeah, but who are you inside the bed and out? Even if we even get there.
Yeah.
Like, who am I really talking to? I mean, yeah, you're this and that on the outside world, but who am I really talking to? I mean, this person might be broken and a billionaire. Or this person might be doing decent and like, you know what, just I learned a lot more about myself and you just being near you. And you got people who cling to that. Like, you can either bring life into a person or be that cancer.
Thank you, LF, for the Cash App. Thank
Yeah.
you, Rita, for the Cash App. Thank you, Joe Average Brother, say your finder's fee for helping me find A game. Okay.
I told you.
There we go. See, that's what I'm saying. You did yourself a favor. You're going to love it. I know you already do right. See, here we go. You see what I'm saying? This is what it is. Y'all got to know what it is.
Sleeping on that.
People, y'all sleep. If y'all ain't got A game yet, you sleep. You need to wake up. That's what you need to do. Thank you, Double C. Said, been a while, had to show support. This is a fire topic.
I say a suggestion for holidays, like, fellas, take advantage of the discount. Get you some A game and get your girl a mistletoe belly chain. I promise you, it's gonna be.
I'm telling y'all better get it together on some A game. Y'all sleep. If you have not purchased A game, let's see. I have been getting sponsored nearly 6 months for A game. If y'all ain't got A game yet, for as many men as that come to me, really, come on. Y'all got to get it together. We got a whole sale going on, 20% off. Y'all not doing it? Come on. Come on. You will not turn back. Ronin to tell you. See, I can't tell you from the experience. Yeah. But what I can do is every dude that I know that have ever taken it has said nothing bad about it. It's like, oh wow, okay, yeah, I didn't know about this. This is awesome. This is what we got to do. I'm telling you, Ronin, to let you know.
I'm very finicky about things. Like if it ain't working for me, I'm not even messing with it. It's like, all right, that was cool, but I'm good. I've tried it. 72 hours of vitality, focus, and yes, putting Wi-Fi in the little guy. The signal is strong.
The force is strong with this one. You see?
You're getting 5 bars, I promise you, or at least 4.
So I'm telling you, 20% off. It's in the description box right now. The link right now. It's in there. You can go real quick and hit the link. Come back to the stream. We're not going nowhere for a little minute. It take you a minute or less to go over there, and Kendra 20 is your discount code. I'm telling you, that's your promo code to get you a discount, and then come back and we'll finish the conversation with y'all. Yeah. But
yes, be her problem for the holidays. She'll appreciate it.
Exactly. Be a whole bugaboo. She gonna like that one though. Again, boy, you so crazy. Boy, sure. You so crazy. You have you some fried chicken and greens waiting on you. Oh, I gotta make him a peach cobbler. She gonna make you a peach cobbler
from scratch.
After that, from scratch. Like she gonna cut the peaches. It ain't gonna be girl, I got a whole thing of peaches. Anybody selling peaches? Girl, it's the winter. Girl, I need some peaches
today. No, there's no cap on that. Just it's not just in that arena, but like I said, I'm going to field test it in the gym shortly. Just it's all about all around vitality, especially nowadays where you got guys dealing with depression, you got guys dealing with ED and a few other things. That's something you need as a supplement. And it said it works for sex. So not just with this conversation, but it's an actual question you have to ask yourself every day. Am I worthy of the truth? Am I worth it? And I say yes. But are you willing to pay the price to invest in the truth within yourself and beyond it? Say reinvigorate her.
Reinvigorate her. Exactly. Because everybody that I know is taking, listen, I'm going to share something with y'all. Man. my dad, I gave my dad a game. It was towards the end. And I ask him, did you take it? So it took him a while. He said, not yet. So then he took it. I asked him, did you take it? He said, yeah. I said, how you feel? He said, a little bit better, a little bit. And the only reason it was a little bit better, and he sat and explained it to me. He said, I'm too far gone, baby. I'm too far gone. I'm at the end. He said, but I did feel a little better. I got some better sleep.
Right.
My back didn't hurt so bad. You know, I was able to rest, and I have not been able to sleep for 9 or 10 months. Can't sleep. He says, so whoever gave you this now, however you got this from, tell them I said thank you. because I really appreciated it. Help an old man get some sleep.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. It's like you never should apologize for that. It's honest. It's honest. It's and that's where we have to start getting back into. We've been lying to each other and ourselves for far too long, and we can't afford that anymore. Can't afford it. I'm saying this personally. Um, Sometimes you have to get off to yourself, or have to you actually be honest with yourself, even if it hurts. And like, look, I cannot live this lie anymore. I'm done trying to hide from myself in public view for what? And a lot of people can see that, especially yourself. So this has to be. I need to see the better version of me at every cost. I say you're worth the truth. So make no apologies of being who you are. That's just gifting people the beauty of who you can be, especially yourself. That's what we're supposed to promote here.
Definitely. I'm sorry. Yeah. I know you just said don't apologize, but
I'm good.
I wasn't trying. I ain't even got no tissue in here. You know I'm ill prepared, y'all.
No,
You know I'm supposed to have tissue. I cried at the drop of a hat now.
no, I
Y'all
mean,
know.
now if you're in there picking your nose, like, yeah, you need to apologize for that. Like, hey,
Running around here. It's so nasty. I can't even say it. It's so nasty.
I was like, look, that's dude, cut that out, cut that out.
So nasty.
No, but we got to have these conversations that with amongst each other, especially ourselves, because you can tell with certain people, they're creatively constipated or emotionally, backed up to when they actually open up, they can't help but let that out because it's about time. I mean, that pressure will kill you. It nearly killed me.
Yeah. I don't know if Sheik was in here when I said it. Hey, fitness. I didn't know. I don't know if Sheik Review was in here when I was saying it, but I was I am a crybaby father saying, leave me alone. I don't know if you were hearing me say we kind of piggyback part of this conversation off of something that you had said a while back when you were on vacation. And you had made a video saying the world is bigger than your dysfunction. And I hate to kind of rewind the conversation, kind of fire back, but it just made me think about there's so much to do and there is so much to be in this life. We only get one, and spending it in misery is not the business. It's not the business. Letting something that might have happened to you 10, 12, 15, 20 years ago make all the decisions in your life for you because you making decisions out of hurt, out of pain, out of betrayal, out of anger, out of whatever you making them decisions out of, and however you operating in life, it is not worth it. It is not worth it. For the last years of his life, my father let a lot of that go. And he was 71. My daddy was an ancestor. He was that old. My father was born in 1949.
Yeah.
Okay. Lived to see his children and his grandchildren. Didn't have great grandchildren yet. And he understood I gotta let a lot of this stuff go, because I can't live my life in this kind of misery. I gotta be able to be happy. I gotta be able to, be with my children and stuff like that, and quit doing all this foolishness and being super dysfunctional and all of this kind of stuff. I have to get myself together. And in 2000 and 9, I gave him Shahada. So he was getting his spiritual self together for years ago. And he understood that that was step 1 of the healing. It didn't matter how old he was. He was like, I gotta heal. I'm still here. And so I can't be living in this kind of pain. My daddy been through a lot of stuff in his life. And he began a healing process that continued until he passed. It's what allowed him to be able to face his mortality with the strength and that he did. And I'm saying that because he came to the conclusion that the world was too big for his dysfunction, and he had allowed his dysfunction to deprive him for so long of things that he could have experienced or the man that he could have been.
Yeah.
And he didn't want that for his children.
Yeah.
And he was constantly telling us, whatever it is, you gotta get past it. You gotta heal it. You gotta let it go. You gotta be able, don't do what I did, waited so long before I could see that, before I could understand it, before I could act on it. You know, it's a lot going on out here. It's a lot of good going on out here. Go experience it. Don't get caught in what me and your mama did. Mm-hmm. Don't get caught in that. You know what I'm saying? We was young and stupid, and we was doing stupid stuff. We was stupid now, and we had kids, and we taught y'all stupid stuff. We didn't give y'all what y'all needed. But please don't let that hold you back. Please find a way to do more with yourself. And I think it just added to me going on this healing journey, because not only did I need the healing for myself, this is a way for me to honor my father and honor being his legacy and honor what he wanted for me and for all of his children. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to turn this into.
No, it's cool. Me. No, this is like really the honest talk, because right now you're conducting spiritual surgery, something that I'm doing and a lot of people are doing. And just because the healing process is necessary, that doesn't mean you got to make some cuts. Some going to be precision, some things you're going to have to cut out, literally, and you're going to feel it. Some parts you need anesthetic, other parts you don't. But we have to do that. Otherwise, you will basically waste away in real time, losing out everything. Because, like, really, if you don't live the fullness of life, I honestly believe you die twice. Because not only do you die physically, but you took all the potential with you and you buried that with you. And you could have made a difference somehow. And you deprived the world of that stuff. That's why you have to look at every day. It's like, what am I going to do today? Even if I sit down and do much of anything, maybe I need to sit down and think about some things. Maybe I need to heal up that way. Because I deal with pain physically from knees, military stuff, but I don't let that dissuade me from getting back into the race of life. Sometimes you have to walk. Sometimes you get a whole sprint. Other times, like, I got to jog this out. All right, you got to know your pace. It's real honest. And sometimes you have to sit by yourself or in public and you have to let all that out, because I told you, it's like this world and a lot of people are not worth that aneurysm. And I was at the brink of a little aneurysm that would took me out. Just allowing a whole lot of clutter build that pressure, and someone could have bought something minor, and then years of frustration would have exploded like Mount Vesuvius on somebody who didn't even deserve it. But you start feeling all that, and it's a release, but it's a cost. Because like all that pressure, a lot of things have broken up, and you could have broken some bridges. You could have broken some opportunities, and now you get off to yourself and try to heal up. It's a destructive cycle. Nowadays, when I get off to myself, I need to medicate. I need to really start rethinking certain things. I'm not as pointed with my conversation as I used to be, because what you see is nothing compared to what I used to be. Nothing. But I'm trying to get better for it.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that because I can have, when I want to, a sharp tongue. Oh, I can cut you. And I cut you good too. I cut you real good. Cut you, cause gone, cut your life out you. Cut your heart out your chest and walk off like I didn't do that. So I definitely can channel my mother.
Yeah.
She in here. She a hyena matriarch, but I'm of her blood and I can't deny it.
Yeah.
And so and in the midst of when I was just in pain and dysfunction, I could channel her. And I channel her real smooth. And it's so destructive.
Yeah.
It's so because I've been the volcano. I've been the one that hold it, hold it, hold it. Oh, okay, can't hold it. All right, I'm gonna explode. That pyroclastic flow is a mother, okay? Because I'm gonna decimate everything in front of me. I mean, I'm gonna strip it down to the bone, and then I'm gonna look at it like, okay, well, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? You stood there for it. You saw. Did you not see the smoke coming from the stack? You didn't see that. You didn't feel the rumble of the volcano. You didn't feel that. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. But it's such a destructive way to do things. It destroys, like you said, it burns bridges, it destroys relationships. You end up doing it to people that don't deserve, you know what I'm saying, to be in the path of that type of destruction that you got going on. You know what I'm saying? They don't really deserve all of that, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. But because you have not understood how to cope with the things that you need, you get these dangerous coping mechanisms. Holding it in until you blow a stack is not a good coping mechanism for stress. You know what I'm saying? And issues. You have to learn how to communicate. And for a long time, as articulate as I am, I could talk, but I couldn't communicate.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between talking and communicating.
Yeah.
And I couldn't communicate what I really felt. I couldn't tell the truth about what was really going on, which would have brought in a lot of healing. But because I felt like I couldn't be honest to the people around me about what was going on with me, I would hold it, hold it. They done made you mad. They done hurt your feelings. Your heart done got broke. Your feelings done got broke. You can't tell nobody. You don't want to tell nobody that they've hurt you or that you feel some type of way. And then all of a sudden, bam, Mount St. Helens. Mount St. Helens before 1980 hadn't erupted in more than 100 years.
Yeah, I agree. Like it went from being like the Tasmanian devil in real time. Like nowadays, I tend to be surgical with sarcasm. Like some people don't even feel the cuts till about a few days later. Like he just really insulted me. But it goes with like learning how to not just feeling critique. You learn how to embrace it. Like I tell people, look, tell me the truth, especially if it hurts. So now I know how to adjust to it. Now there's, a rebuttal that may come with it, but most times it's earned. Other times it's like it just being honest. Like sometimes, okay, you have to sit on that. Okay, I'm this. I can sit there and change that. Now someone's being out like blatant with it. Definitely a rebuttal is gonna come with it, with cheese. But it goes into learning how to refine yourself. Not only as men, you talk about being the potter. You have to learn how to mold yourself. Because what good is it to not have a program? I mean, like if you have a program, why should she even follow you? Why should she even listen to you? Because like it's already chaotic as is with female nature. How can you trust a chaotic dude?
Yeah.
Especially when you see it in real time. So he's got to learn how to be the master of himself, or at least, uh, at least an apprentice. So he knows where he started. But I mean, that's just. I mean, I know it goes to the astrological thing, but just with the whole thing with the Scorpio, like you start from a lizard, scorpion, eagle, sent to a phoenix. I'm looking to at least just be an eagle. That way I can see above things. And an eagle is definitely majestic. You rarely see them, but when you look up, you know, they can see damn near everything. You know, they fly at a height that most people can't do it. And he doesn't worry about the clucking of chickens.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
No.
Exactly. Let me take a right. Take a moment. Thank you. I don't want to say your name. SR is your initial, sweetheart. Thank you for the Cash App. Thank you, Darkness, for the Cash App as well. Thank you. Oh, I thanked y'all before. I'm just not getting back to the responses. But yeah, speaking to the zodiac thing, because I like talking about that. That's my thing.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that with us, that twin stuff, it can be interesting because one twin can take a lot and the other one is real sensitive.
Right.
Real sensitive. And I'm a very sensitive person, actually. It may not appear that way online because the sensitive part of me don't even belong on YouTube. Because she too sensitive. Y'all see I be crying.
Yeah.
I cry every show. If it hit me, be like, this is the cryingest content creator we ever seen in our life. This girl always got subjects where she crying. What is going on with her? She just, the whole thing is hurting inside. I don't know why she crying like
Where's
that.
the honest cry? It's not that Tammy Faye Baker begging for money cry.
The panhandle cry.
Yeah, you see like
The
a
cry
pound
for
of
the
makeup
panhandle.
fall off.
Mhm. That makeup slough off like a mud slide. You know what I'm saying? And she's study panhandling through that mud slide.
Please give us money. Like, get the hell out.
Thank you, Artisan. Thank you so much, sweetheart.
Oh,
So I think we might go ahead and wrap this up, but I'm going to give you a moment, Ronin, to say whatever you want to say.
Whatever.
Wait. Hold on.
Is that safe? Are you sure?
Like, I'm gonna give you one more, to the count of 3 now, and then you're not gonna be able to cancel it.
It's like Candyman. Like, you got one more time.
Right.
Actually,
You said and another thing.
and another.
He's silly.
No, actually, it's again, it's like we have to really change the narrative. Like, I get the concept of Black male independence. I definitely understand that, but interdependence, I look at it as like I'm able to work with others, and to an extent, but the most important work is within myself. And that's what we need to promote, because yeah, I mean, it's like it can go awry, especially with people jumping on narratives left and right, like crack. But we have to really be honest with ourselves, because living that lie will wear you out. Mm-hmm. I admit, at some time I figured I was my job, or I was, who I hung around with. No, I mean, I had to take account, like, there's people who roll with me because who I am, because I'm not willing to strip myself and other people down, like, to the root, and like, who is this person? I mean, you can put on the expensive clothes, or even you can lay with someone, and I know what it feels like to be in a bed with somebody who use a whole lot of bodies to bury themselves from themselves. And that's a messed up feeling, but it's a real thing. And you got a lot of individuals who do that. Some guys like try to acquire bodies, like, and they tend to forget the necessity of quality over quantity. Because you get that good one in some A game, you straight. You is straight.
Thank you, MLR. I appreciate that. It's important, both content creators, good conversation. I'm glad. I'm hoping somebody can take something out of these conversations, definitely. To quote Sheep, the world is bigger than your dysfunctions.
Yes.
It's too much going on for us to just live and stew and sit in crazyment and foolishness and think that we're okay. As a collective, we have not moved forward because we are focused on, we put the cart before the horse. We're focused on all the external things, but we are ignoring what happens with us individually to ourselves. And we do ourselves a major disservice when we aren't able to be honest with ourselves and ask yourself, do you want healing or not? Yeah. And if you don't, that's fine, but then you got to sit on the sideline because you can't be marching in step with folks that really want healing and that are really willing to do the work no matter how difficult that work is, to get to the place where they are healed. And a place where once they're healed, they might be able to help others reach that same type of place. And I want to help people reach that place. And I know how hard it can be because I'm going through and have gone through healing processes. Not just one, but a lot of them. Looking inside myself to find where the dysfunctions are, to find where the hurt is, to find where the pain is at, to find the thing that needs the healing, and to go ahead and heal it. Just heal it off. And so you can be a whole person. And the people, once you become a whole person, the people around you that you care for, you can actually be a benefit to them people and not a detriment to those people. Or they have to constantly overlook how you're hurting them to try to see how you're helping them. And I decided I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the person that people have to figure out, well, is she hurting me or is she helping me? I can't figure out which one. I want to be the person that people that are around me say, I love her because of who she is. Yeah. I'm around her and I'm with her, whether that's a friendship, your family relationships, your romantic ones, whatever they may be. This person is so valuable to me because of not only what they are, but who they are. And I want to live my life in contact and in relationship with this person. I want to be that woman. That is the high value woman. Yes. That's her. And I want to become her. I want to be her all the time. Yeah. So I guess that wraps up us. I want to thank you once again for another awesome conversation, Ronin. It's always good to talk to you. It's always awesome to have these conversations, and hopefully everybody else got something from it today. So
I definitely think the replay will get a lot of numbers because some people are not ready to face themselves yet. But like I said, you got to invest time within yourself. If you invested time into your school or whatever your passion is, it's okay to understand that you are part of your passion. Not on a narcissistic level, just like how can you enjoy, the things you create without enjoying who you are. Mm-hmm. And, definitely one last time this holiday, take advantage. All you need for Christmas is some A game and her placing that whole key in your hand. Y'all be doing electric slide in your bedroom. I promise you. One ass nigga.
I'm telling y'all that 20% off is about to go away real quick. So this the holiday, so y'all need to get that. I'm telling y'all, and it's your girl gonna love it because you so crazy, boy. Can I pick some fresh blueberries off of the vine and make some a blueberry pie She gonna be outside in a handkerchief scarf and an apron trying to meal you some blueberry. Like, listen, she gonna put in work, okay? She's gonna try to match that work you put in. You gonna be somewhere and you gonna be trying to ask her, you tapping out, and she gonna be like, no.
Yeah,
I ain't tapping out, baby. Yeah, it's gonna be one of them. So you know what I'm saying?
you guys know that victory pose, stand in the mirror, drinking the Kool-Aid, looking at her.
So,
blessed.
So, you know, she gonna appreciate that, but also you're going to appreciate how you feel, you know, just as a man. Yeah. And all of that good stuff. So with that, we're gonna close this out. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.
Hey guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor, who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.